is Livestream. I am Max. Welcome to my dining room table. And with me is one of my best good friends.
I'm on your right.
Oh, over.
Yep, there you go. And welcome to my bedroom. That's kind of weird to say.
Wow, this took a kinky turn, perhaps. I don't know.
Where I like pirates, clearly, and yeah.
And you are Tony, who makes all of this happen.
Also true.
Yeah, manning the tech and all that good stuff. So welcome. We got a whole hour.
We got a whole hour. Hey, and Ed Robinson might be hanging out with us for a whole hour. What's happening, Ed? Thank you for the congratulations for our first year. It's been a good one.
Yeah.
You were included in that.
No, for sure. Like, it's funny because like year in review, things for year two, like those are all things I believe we're going to talk about.
For sure.
So it's perfect that Ed is here because that he ties into a lot of all of the awesome things that happened.
Absolutely.
In year one. So
absolutely.
Yeah, super sweet and super cool. And we have some gameplay to talk about first, if I am not mistaken.
I mean, that's how we usually start these things. So our anniversary episode is included in this, number 52, which actually marked the year, right? 52 weeks, and we came out every week, so that's it.
Yeah, man. Crazy. 52 weeks of gameplay. That's wild. Good job, us. All right, man. Well, do you want to go ahead and start talking about what we did?
I will. I do think, I'm trying to think what, we just talked about this, but I'm trying to think of what happened in 52. That was the battle. But 51, I just remember as a player, I was kind of quiet during 51 because it was the trial, and Gore didn't really have... He had a couple points, but Illinsworth and Jastian had just had more points to go, and we were trying to prove why the elven goddess of justice was letting Lionel Lysanthier do what he was doing. And we were trying to stop that, if I'm not mistaken. Because she was like, I don't know what else to do, so I'm just going to let him seek vengeance, because something has to be done about the humans dropping a city on us. And we were like, there's probably something better to... That's not the right path.
She is a complicated goddess, because it's justice, war, and grief, I believe.
There's a lot to unpack there.
There's a going on.
There's a lot going on there.
But no, it was a super cool moment. I am really glad that Nick broke those sessions where he did and gave us time to think about that, because
Nick, also very true.
Because I am way certain that being caught like unprepared and off guard with that would have made for a far worse viewing
100%
experiences.
100%. Because I think I remember when we were filming, he was like, she's like, she like implemented what was happening, and then she's like, what do you say? And then like gave it a beat, and we're like, and he's like, we'll find out next week. And we're like, think Helm, because we need a week to think about this.
I mean, Nick really has gotten better about like where he stops.
100%.
For maximum dramatic effect.
I would agree. And it's amazing how much we can get through in about an hour and a half. Like, it's not nothing. Like, we usually can progress through the story or through whatever we're doing pretty far. So things happen every episode, even though they're only an hour.
Dude, I just remember at the beginning of that when Ben was like, well, does the defense have a council? It's like, what are you doing? No, why?
And she brought up the hag, and I don't think the hag said anything.
No.
It was slop growth randomly, and she didn't even like contribute to the trial at all. So
no, which was totally okay by my book, but it was super fun. Like,
yeah,
it's such a nice thing to do. Like, if you have a table of players who are engaged in the story and who like like the ideas and the arguments in there, it's kind of cool, right? Because like it's easy to be like, oh, Ben's dad is an asshole and he's part of a Nazi elf cult, so whatever they're doing is bad.
Yeah, but how do you prove that to a goddess that's okay with what he's doing?
Well, not only how do you like argue against that, but also like to give their side a
Yeah.
chance to speak, right? Because, you know, like the best villains don't think they're villains, right? They think they're good guys doing what needs to be done that no one can do.
Yep.
And so to hear like a defense of their ideology that wasn't just like, wow, we're racist and hate life, you know,
Yeah.
that was more nuanced, I thought was,
I mean,
just
the villain
cool.
monologue, if you will, right? To some extent.
Yeah,
Where you get a taste of what they're actually thinking in their thought process, and where the viewer is usually like, that makes sense, but I still don't agree with it, but I understand where you're coming from.
yeah, like, well, just to add like that, the like nuance of it not being so gray in the world, or so black and white, right, to make it more gray.
Absolutely.
But no, luckily we were able to argue our case that
we did, and we did a pretty good job. It took probably half the episode. I think it was a solid 30 minutes.
Every bit of that.
Yeah. But it was good. It was a good session during that. And then I think I don't know if we went in 2 more rooms, but the room that I remember was the love room after that, which was very curious. And now I'm trying to think how we got out of that one.
We just made our saves.
Yeah, I guess that's true. That was, it was as simple as that.
Yeah, no, it would have got a lot uglier, but we all rolled really well, which I mean, love it or hate it at the end of the day.
D&D is really easy when you roll 20s.
5th edition Dungeons and Dragons, just roll 20s. You don't have to be good. Your plan can be crap.
I mean, shoot, high teens is enough most of the time.
Fair enough. But yeah, at the end of the day, all your strategy, all your thoughts and plannings, all you gotta do is roll 20s.
Oh, Keith Schaefer showed up. What's happening, man?
Up, Keith? Yeah, and so then we were, after that, we went and we had our final exam in AP Elf Prove Ourselves School.
And Gord misspoke during that final exam, if I'm not mistaken. So what I remember is we were like, okay, we're ready for the final exam, and we had the option because they asked, "Are you ready?" And Gord's like, "I guess so. Like, yeah, we're like, what else is there else to do?" And then 2 rounds in, we were like, "Oh, we could have said no and maybe rested first before this happened."
But it wouldn't have been the PeakD&D way.
It wouldn't have. Absolutely.
You talk about a perfect year birthday, failing to rest before the big gnarly boss fight. Happy birthday, PeakD&D.
Because I think I had half my hit points, and man, that angel hit hard. Because Gord was up and down that entire session. I think I went down 3 times.
Yeah, I felt a little bad, but I really, as soon as I heard there was a circlet, I had proof of concept, man, because that is part of my plan for when it all goes down.
Yes.
As I hate it when villains get away. I mean, it's a beautiful thing, and it's the best way to fuel the flames of oh, I can't wait to kill this guy, is if they continue to get away. But he always taps his stupid circlet, and then he just bamfs away.
So taking that chess piece off the table, just proof of concept. You were able to do it, but again, you just gotta roll. You gotta roll well when it comes to that point.
Also true. Here's to hoping I crack some terrible jokes to have some inspiration in case I don't.
And here's to hoping that we don't have the Lysanthier latency when that happens.
I mean, I'm just gonna assume Ben's gonna be useless in that fight.
I mean, I think that's a good assumption for us to have. So then we fight in a different way and not rely on him. To be fair, though, we need to have that piece. But man, I also hope the dice tell the story of when push comes to shove, Jastian just annihilates.
The underdog. Yeah, no, I got you, man.
You know, when it actually comes to head, because he's gotten away and we've interacted with him a couple times. When it's actually one-on-one, this is the final kind of standoff that he actually turns it on, and it gets ridiculous, and he's like, "F you, Dad. I didn't need your love anyways."
You were never my real dad. No. I have nothing but faith the dice will deliver.
A well-timed 20, if you will. You know what I mean? On the final blow or something of that nature. I hope Jastian gets hit the final word, if you will.
I mean, not very different than Rose Up and what happened with you. And
that's very true. God, I can't believe that 20 came when I had the Vorpal sword, right? I was like, oh. This happens, right? Oh, okay. Well timed 20 though, and that's where it comes in. The dice tell the story. Just tell the story just as much as the players and the DM.
Yeah, and tell the best story ultimately. Like,
I would concur with
I mean,
that sentiment.
be it ones or be it 20s, man. Like, as cool as it is to like roll that 20 with that Vorpal sword and win the Rose Up Gauntlet, which is a beautiful, glorious moment in the game. Like, the most fun I have had around the table, like the times I have been crying with laughter, is when people roll ones.
Oh, 100%.
Right, like, and there's just it's just a beautiful, beautiful thing, man. And that's the dice telling the story just as well.
Oh, absolutely. They are a crucial piece in storytelling in D&D.
And then let's see what happened.
I think after we beat him, then they showed us I can show you the world.
That's right. That's right. We got our minds blown by like existential reality and like oh, hey, did you ever wonder how magic was made? Oh, like, here, do you want to see me make a person? That's cool. Like, I'm just gonna do this casually in conversation.
But the kicker was, at the end of it all, they were just like, we don't know what's going on down in Earth, so I don't know what to do.
Yeah, exactly. They're showing like the fabrics of the cosmos and reality.
And then our situation, they're like, oh.
We're like, yeah, no, this is out of our pay grade. Like, what?
Yeah, out of the other god's pay grade. Cool. Let us mortals figure this out. Awesome.
That's cool. I'm going to take my level 6 rogue ass to go
and save the world.
Do the thingies. And then we got the summer wine, which I'm curious. Like, I have a good sense of where that's going to go.
What was that? Was it awakens some
like the
creatures
intelligence,
right?
I think
reawakens someone who's sleeping or brings them back to life or something like that.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, I'm pretty sure we got. I mean, I think we got it right in the episode. We got to chase down that white stag and force feed it some wine.
I mean,
sounds bad.
It does, but that might be what we have to do. Ed makes a good point. Gods like to play coy.
Fair enough.
Very true.
You are correct, Ed. And hopefully that's what that is. Or who knows what Nick is. All I know is that Beyond the Feywild is just a big setup for whatever he's got coming up next.
Yes.
So
that it is.
I'm not entirely sure if Illensworth and Jastian and Gord are going to live through this.
No, we're not. We're not sure about that.
But if we do, possibly learning how to make more summer wine. I feel like with my history in the meadery, and my ties to the Fae, might be something that Illensworth does. What about Gord, man? If this is all over and we win, what's Gord gonna go do?
If this is all over, what am I gonna go do? What would Gord do? I mean, we do have that. I don't know where I put it, but we do have that Fae carrot somewhere.
I thought.
And we also have Fae manure too somewhere in the recesses of our bags of holding. So I think at the start, I'd probably go home and hang out with the fam for a bit and like give him all this Fae cool stuff that will like yield even better crops than we already make, because we're kind of like the bee's knees when it comes to root vegetables. But just like enhance that whole thing. I don't know. Would I go back to Airedale and help out anything? I'm not sure. I don't know what I would do.
I feel like we planted the carrot, but I can't remember where.
Yeah, I did. I gave it to somebody to plant. Oh, maybe in the Druid Grove? In the Grove for the homeless kids? That sounds right.
Oh,
yeah, like during our like week vacation where we like beat, I think when we finished Into the Fae and we had like a little bit of or somewhere we had some downtime, that was part of what I was doing.
Our summer break. Okay.
Yeah. What happened on our summer break?
That sounds Gordy.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know what would be next for Gord. He'll have to think about that. He lives in the present and just wants to get this done.
That's fair.
Like next step, he's like, oh, we still got to figure out Lysanthier. All right, let's go figure that out.
Do you think Jastian is serious about the Bone Palace? Like, is it going to be a brothel and Waterdeep? Is that what he's like?
I truly hope so.
What he's angling toward? Okay.
I don't know, new start, business, I don't know, and he's kind of on his own and has no ties to anybody at that point, and, you know, like running his own business rather than family-run business, and It seems right. It has been more of a joke throughout this whole thing, but I feel like that's a viable possibility, to be honest. Maybe a little more higher end than just like straight brothel. Maybe a high end brothel. I don't know.
No.
I think he's learned a little bit. I think he's learned a little bit to not just be, I don't know, like salt of the earth or whatnot, dirt of the earth. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll be.
He's learned to be a better person through this entire process. So
possibly.
He did die though, and that's changed him a little bit. But
that has changed. I mean, he didn't hit on the elf goddess, so that's cool.
That's
like
also
usually when there's like a woman in power, that's like his go-to move is like, hey.
That's also true.
So that's growth.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry, Ed. I look at the chat, but it's not like too readily available for me. But he's asking, are we planning to make new characters for what comes next? And the answer to that is yes, we are.
Yeah.
So there will be a conclusion of sorts to the story that we are telling, but it'll be a precursor to the world that Nick is setting up.
Yeah, like all of these events, like Nick wants the actual world to be in a specific spot for when he starts his original story.
Yep.
And so
we're playing we're playing that out rather than it being background.
And yeah, I mean, like part of me loves, we've had a couple over the course of our, like there's a Wednesday night group that, was the genesis of this all in a way. But we've had people who like got tired of characters or, back in the day in second edition, when you lost Constitution, when you came back to life, like, they were like, they were no longer able to adventure safely. And so we had them retire. And I really like having old characters become NPCs. Like, it's just a cool thing to have happen in the world. So part of me hopes that we live through this so that we get to become NPCs.
We become the what's it called? The first class of the initial meta of PeakD&D. Like, we're canon. Yeah. Gord Illinsworth and Jastian are like, and then like say, who knows, 3 years down the road, like some characters come across like old Gord. He's lived his life and he's like doing his thing, but we go seek counsel from him or something like that. Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah, or like, yeah. I mean, I just love having them as a part of the fabric of the world to be tied in however it happens.
Yes. 100%.
Yeah.
Or if we die, there's just going to be bards of like telling stories of the 3 brave adventurers that were there at the end of the world kind of scenario.
Exactly.
So we'll be there in one way, shape, or form, but it would be awesome if we just became the NPC, retired and became the NPCs and lived through whatever's coming.
I am getting pretty curious though about what his like main story is going to be in his next adventure.
You and me both.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I think we in our initial like testing phases of PeakD&D, I think we played through an alternate beginning of it, but I don't fully remember what that was. It was in the snow. It was on like the snowy beach. Do you not remember this?
No.
We trenched through the snow and we like fought crabs or something. I don't remember, but
okay.
We tried to find some artifact for somebody, and then it was like a testing phase.
Oh, that sounds...
And we were like, oh, is this where we would start off? He's like, no, this is an alternate beginning that we'll do a different beginning, but this is one I was playing around with.
Okay, that sounds vaguely familiar. That was a long time ago, though. But
a year ago, maybe a year ago.
More than that.
Year and a half.
Yeah, but anyway, it'll be fun things to look forward to.
Yes, it will. I think we're getting close to that too.
Yeah, no, it seems like it. Which is cool.
Yeah.
It's all coming together. Word. So do you want things we learned in year 1 from doing the channel?
Having said that, year in review. Man, we had a hefty goal of putting out 2 videos a week.
We had 2 hefty goals, if we're gonna be fair.
Okay, touche. And we made it 50 weeks.
Yeah.
Of that goal.
Yeah, black and white, we failed both of our goals.
Pass fail, we failed, yes.
One of them by like 2 weeks, which means we were like 50 weeks we nailed that goal, which is not nothing.
It's
and
stellar.
To go from like no video releases to like out of the gate, we're gonna do 2 a week.
Yeah.
Maybe not the best choice for sustainability. Certainly a lesson we've learned.
Yes.
But we came really, really close, far closer than our other goal.
Which I honestly totally forgot about.
Which, so like, I've kept that one like very much in mind. So yes, one goal we failed by 2 weeks. One goal we failed by 9,581 subscribers.
Yes.
But that just means shout out to the 419 that we had
Absolutely.
last time I looked, because y'all are awesome. And
I know. To be honest, I was, just because we're in Colorado, I was hoping that today we would have 420.
Yeah, weed.
Whoever's the 420th subscriber, like, is gonna get something. I don't know.
Yeah, great. Awesome. From Tony, you're gonna get something.
You'll
from
get
Tony.
something.
Not
Not PeakD&D, from Tony.
Yeah, and so like those were two really ambitious goals. Like, there's definitely been other D&D channels
Yeah.
who have grabbed like the 10,000 in a year, and that's nothing, no slouch, man. And so we were like, oh, if they did it, we can do it, and we couldn't, and we didn't.
Not
and
the
that's
first
okay.
year. I do have to say that to me, the weird, I'm trying to think of words. Sorry. The weird caveat to that is, I mean, of course we really couldn't because of where we all stood about things, but like, if we had gotten on that train somehow in 2020 where everyone was like literally inside, we might have capitalized on that, but we just weren't ready for production at that point. And then obviously 2020 threw a bunch of wrenches into those gears. So there's that. And I would also say too, the other one to that I try to keep in mind is like, not in a, this isn't a bad thing, but I do think that the D&D realm of YouTube a little bit is saturated at this point. So it's harder to find content makers that you like, because there are a lot of them now, because it's a normal thing to do for groups to stream their stuff and put it online, especially figuring that out in 2020 when you couldn't do anything. So they just figured out Roll20 or any sort of tabletop RPG engine, and then just decided to stream it. So there's just a lot more people out there that are doing what, you know, Critical Role kind of paved the path for.
Yeah, and rightfully so, man. Like, everyone out there, you know, like chasing their dreams and stuff. And I think that's awesome. I'm kind of reminded though about breweries, right?
Okay.
Like 10 years ago, I thought that the market for craft beer was saturated.
Okay.
Right. And I was like, oh my God, who would start a brewery now? Like, there's so many. But like, clearly in the last 10 years, there have been even more breweries that have exploded.
Yep.
And so I think similarly, like the Dungeons and Dragons space is like that. Like,
yeah. Comparable,
you know,
to that kind of, growth, if you will.
And, you know, it's all about like doing something different, differentiating yourself, like not trying to compete with people in that traditional regard. And so like, yeah, gameplay. Yeah, man. I mean, isn't that, look, doesn't everyone who plays Dungeons and Dragons, who puts video online, want to be Critical Role and get paid like obscene amounts of money to play this game? I mean, that's the dream, right? Like, that's what you, right? Like, if you're gonna be in a band, right, you dream of selling out arenas. And if you're on the basketball card, you dream
been there, man. Been both of those places.
Yeah, like getting paid a bunch of money to play a game, right?
Yeah, essentially.
And that's awesome, but also like, I mean, it certainly happens. Much like you roll 20s when you get the Vorpal sword to cut off the thing's head. Like, it does happen.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen all the time.
But also YouTube is a weird thing, timing. Like, some people have been streaming, doing YouTube for like 8 years, and then all of a sudden a video out of nowhere hits, and then they're big. But you just hear about them, but you don't realize like the 8 years of content that they had like 200 subscribers before that even happened. So it's always a timing thing, and people, in my opinion, I think we have the content. We were doing things certainly a little bit different, and I think our production value is pretty solid. We could do better, and arguably, I mean, we can do better regardless, but I think it's definitely above most channels at the moment. So all of that said that, I think everything for us is going forward in a good position. And if we keep doing what we're doing, a year from now, 3 years from now, who knows? But
yeah,
that's kind of how I see it.
It's tough, right? Like I struggle with like, do you make things for the people, do you design things so that people want, like, i.e. like right to the algorithm, which is like a quote unquote tried and true way to become popular, or do you do the things that you like? And I don't know, it's an interesting.
I always vote to do the things that you like, but that's just me.
I mean, obviously I do too.
too.
Otherwise we'd be making videos like rating classes and like optimizing builds and stuff like that, which is like, a lot of people really like that stuff.
Yeah. To a what's it called? No, acknowledge chat. Sorry, I'm falling behind here, but we got, let's see. Quasums. I'm not sure. I don't think we know Quasums, but thanks for coming out. He knows Ed and he knows us, so that's great. What's going on? Ed's point was that very few RPG channels hit that level in the first year, so that's, I mean, I think we kind of knew that, but it's also good coming from someone else acknowledging that too. And then two very, very awesome comments from Keith and Ed, and they say that we are definitely the best D&D channel around in their opinions anyways. So we're doing something right, and it's just, we just got to get to a wider audience, Ed, and that's what we're hopefully thinking about to some extent come year 2. That's what we're going to try to move our focus to, try to appeal to a bigger audience somehow.
Oh, look at you. Are you a mall cop? Because that was a smooth segue. Year 2. Well, Tony, I mean, like, you take it, buddy.
Year 2. So I think the biggest change that should be addressed would be that for the foreseeable future, not necessarily forever, we are going to dial back on our production schedules because it is hard on all of us. And we're going to put out 1 video a week, and we're going to do 2 streams a month. I think we're going to keep Saturdays as our release date for now, but that could change in the future. And then streaming, I don't think we have a dialed in set schedule. It's just going to be every other week, basically, but we will certainly put it out on the socials, which I think Max is doing well on. So with the link and stuff like that.
I'm at least doing something, which is more than we're doing.
Exactly. But once maybe we get it scheduled, you'll know about the streams maybe a little more in advance than just the day. So, because why? Because why?
Because why, Tony? What have you been hard at work on?
I've been hard at work. Okay, so as PeakD&D, I think we want to build a community, which I think we have built to some extent on YouTube, and certainly with the DM layer folks, we've collaborated with them multiple times, and hopefully continue to. But we want to build kind of more of our own community too. So we are going to launch our Discord channel, I think next week at some point. And that is where we will have a lot of our announcements for live streams. We'll have a lot of general chat areas. And then I'm also slowly developing kind of a community-based D&D game through Discord. That's not going to be ready next week, but it's in development still. But I think it'll bring a lot of like working together and community feeling on the Discord that's different from the rest of the Discord channels that I follow. And I haven't seen yet. And it's a little more interactive and more, I'd say it's a little more interactive than just with bots, I guess, from what I've seen. So we'll see how that goes.
This actually reminds me, because we do, like, I know that Keith and Ed and Quasums are in there, and like maybe you all know when did Discord become a thing? Like,
like a thing. Like it blew up. It's kind of like Zoom in 2020. Like all of a sudden, it's like everybody has a Discord.
Like, look, I'm no spring chicken, right? And I don't stay up with what the kids are doing, but like, I had never heard of Discord, and I had no idea how crucial it was to like specifically, like it seemingly like the D&D YouTube community. So I'm just curious. Like, I have no idea when that came on the scene, but I was way blindsided by
the only time I used it was when we played games, I think once online, and we used Discord.
Yeah, like I would use it to like hook up this mic actually and play games with my buddy Dave.
Right.
But that I had no idea that like whole businesses and communities were run via Discord. Crazy.
Yeah. No, and funny enough, like I was skeptical of Discord. I was just like, I don't really want to get into it. But then when I was playing Sea of Thieves one night, these guys totally rated me, but they were nice about it. And they invited me to their Sea of Thieves Discord. So that's kind of how I started poking around. And it's super cool because it's like email, but it's also like a live chat, and both of those live in the same space simultaneously all the time, which I think is a super cool, interesting thing. So if people are on at the same time, they can just chat, or if people aren't on, then you can just leave a message and people can respond whenever they want to. And it's just an interesting dynamic how that works, that I've seen. So I think it's good. I think it'll be a good thing. And most D&D channels have something of the sort, so we thought we would try it out. And yeah, that's what I'm working on.
Like in very much like in fitting with like sort of how we've done this first year and like making things that are a little different. Like I'm super excited and glad and proud of you, Tony. Like I know you've worked hard on this mini game, and I know that it's been an idea in like not necessarily that format, but something you've wanted to do for a while. And so I'm super stoked to see how that goes off and to watch it unfold.
Yeah, just figuring out some implementation, I think, is kind of the only thing I got to do. But hopefully it works out. And if not, then that's okay too. We have a Discord channel that we can all just hang out on and chat about D&D stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, so look out for announcement. I don't know, maybe on the socials and maybe on something else. But here's the big announcement: is on our live stream. So we'll start throwing up that link. We'll probably put the link in the about section of our YouTube page. Is I think what we decided.
Yeah,
and then
throw it in.
We'll throw it places. And we'll send it out to people who want it or whatnot, or I think you guys can invite people as it goes. So we're just gonna open it up and it'll get there eventually.
And see what happens.
Oh, Goliath Cleric is popping in. What's up, man?
What's up? Man, we got all the people are coming to say hi. That's
all
awesome.
The people are coming to say hi. Yes, Goliath Cleric. It reminds me of AIM from early 2000s, 100%.
For sure, man. So I was in college in early 2000s, and no joke, I roomed blind freshman year, and like the dude I roomed with, we communicated far more like sitting back to back at our respective desktops through AOL Instant Messenger than we did like speaking legitimate words, even though he was maybe
like literally right behind
4 feet.
That's hilarious. Yeah. That's hilarious. I will never not get triggered by that door opening sound in a good way, but like, yeah, it's just a sound that I can't remember where you fit, but that's certainly a sound that millennials will owe it, or that is ingrained in the back of our minds that we will never forget.
I feel like when you're like a friend logged on, that was the sound.
Yep, and then it closed the door when something logged off, and both of those sounds are just...
Can you jack that sound for our Discord?
That would be hilarious.
I don't know if that's a thing that happens, but...
I'm sure I could get probably not the exact, but I'm sure I could get a door opening and a door closing wave file and somehow maybe put it on there.
I'm trying to think of like sound effects. I usually have all my sound effects turned off, but
that's fair. I mean, everybody has. I mean, does anyone even have a ringer on their phone anymore? Why do we even have that anymore? Everyone has their stuff on vibrate.
It does surprise me when I'm hanging out with someone who has like a ringer for text messages or like phone. It does surprise me.
I do like to turn mine on in certain regards, but I usually have mine on vibrate. But it's just funny, like everyone's like, yeah, when someone's ringer goes off, they're like, why do you have your ringer on? What are you doing?
Yeah.
How dare you? I'm like, sorry? I don't know.
So
I want to be notified when someone's calling me.
I'm curious, year in review, backtracking a second, like we had some like cool stuff happened for sure, man, over this first year. I want to hear like what your favorite moments and like biggest wins from Peak D&D's first year of life.
First year of life. I would say, so I'm going to say two things. In a general respect, just from the entire year, I think every Monday, or first it was every other Monday, and then we were trying to ramp up and get some extra footage in this past few months, and ended up being every Monday. But just being able to play games in our tight knit group, which I've always enjoyed games in our bigger groups and everyone that we have played games with. But I think, like you've said, when we're around the table, like at Peak D&D, just like the amount of focus we have, and we're like into it, and we're playing the game like from start to finish without a lot of distractions or anything like that. So just being present and being with each other and just playing the game. And that's just been a highlight for every other Monday to look forward to. Again, like we've said, like regardless if it gets streamed or put on YouTube, like that's really where we enjoy ourselves, is just playing the game, whether or not anyone watches. So that's my general, like, it's just been nice to have a D&D group to go to that functions in the way that we have for the last year has been awesome. And Gord is probably my favorite character to date, even though I've only made like 5 total. But he's been great to play with. And not just because they're in chat, but I would have to say specifically for many reasons, it's going to LayerCon last October was also a huge treat. One, for just being at LayerCon, but two, also just traveling with you guys and like spending God knows how many hours in the car and listening to, one, on the way there, watching all of Frisky Dingo, two, on the way back, listening to Ben spout out about random musicals and why they're horrible. And
I have those audio files. Like, I recorded Ben doing that, and those are definitely on my computer.
Ooh, maybe patron releases at some point.
We would have to get Ben's clearance on that one.
Of
I'm
course.
not sure he would feel too good about that. No,
you're probably right, because it was a little risque.
I will yes and in the Peak D&D way. I will yes and both of those and add a couple of my own. I would say that it's true. I remember, when this idea, the genesis of this idea came to be, you were like, no, let's keep the group small. And I was a little, not necessarily against it, but skeptical. And it's one thing that I've certainly noticed is like those small groups, like a good small group is really satisfying to play with, man. Like, group flow is a really satisfying state and experience. Yeah. And it, like you said, man, like focus and concentration are like two things that drive it. And just being in a group that can like get to that place that has their focus. And I mean, again, I think the cameras help, right? Because we're not getting up to the counter to like eat snacks. Like, and I do that all the time at my other D&D.
But that also adds to that whole immersive state. Is it's on camera, so you're putting on that production to some extent. So it enhances the D&D play, as we found, at least in our group.
Oh, through and through, man. And so like that's been kind of surprising. Not that I didn't think it was going to be fun, but I didn't realize how much fun it would be and how satisfying it would be.
So I'd have to say, like, we're talking about, like, if I'm not mistaken, we're talking about between a four player plus a DM or 3-player plus a DM. Small, right? Because we were never thinking about being more than 4 players.
No.
So that was kind of the distinction between what you were saying as far as a small group to some extent.
But I would say 3, like, actually, we had a really good session on our Wednesday group last night. Oh, nice. Man, we fed a shaman some LSD. We made a new religion. It was great. But it was a ton of laughter. And so, like, yeah, you can, the key is engagement, right? The key is focus. And the bigger the group, the harder that is. So having a smaller group and having cameras on definitely edges that in our favor. And LayerCon was phenomenal. Like, dude, we went down there. Ben drove the whole way. Awesome. Champion. Ben is a champion.
I don't know. I still don't know how we did that, but
it was great, man. Because like we didn't know And like it all happened through Discord. It all happened through email. Like having never met Ed and Zach or Luke or Sonny or anybody that was there in person. And like, not that I was worried that we weren't going to get along, like that it wasn't going to be fun, but like there was some trepidation, you know, like, oh, how's it going to be? And so like it turned out to be so much fun, man. And
absolutely.
Like, yeah, like I definitely the highlight of the year. For like a million different reasons.
Yeah, the specific highlight for sure. I would say that's it.
Yeah.
I would have to say though, isn't it? I could be mistaken, and Goliath, Cleric, and Ed could maybe correct me if I'm wrong. But it was like the first time they were all meeting in person too, right?
Oh, dude, I'm like 90% sure. Like that lunch that we all went to, I think was like the first time like that whole team had been together. And so like I remember sitting at
I guess not
table.
met, but like together in person. So we were like randomly part of that, which was super crazy to me. But
definitely I felt a little bit like a party crasher, like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay. But it was awesome. Great. And thank you guys for including us. We had a blast and we are looking forward to this year. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, through and through, man. It's gonna be awesome. I would say other wins, like, you know, like the whole D&D ideas thing has been like my pet philosophy and like just a pet project for so long. And so like getting to spend time writing those scripts and actually being able to write those scripts and produce them, as many as we did, was just a lot of fun. Like I love chewing on those ideas. I love like getting to put those out there and attempting to like, I don't know, add a little bit more magic.
Create that filter.
Yeah, exactly, man. Like, you know, come on, we're all adults here, right? Life can be pretty humdrum and boring, and like a lot of the magic gets stripped away from it. And so like to just be able to try to like throw something out there to add a little bit more enchantment to the way that people live and like look at life is just, I don't know, it's like seriously one of my passions and like part of my purpose.
Well, I honestly, I love that idea because again, it's something different that not everyone is doing. We're just talking a little more meta about the game rather than always talking about favorite classes or multi-classing or best features or anything like that. We're just doing things, I don't know, just different. So
yeah, no, it ties into a conversation Nick and I had for
thanks, Fry Minis. He's got to go, but he says congrats for the anniversary, Fry Minis. So,
oh, thanks, Eric. It's good to see you, man. And again, LayerCon, man, like that game, sitting down with you and Ben and Alan and Amber, like crazy, but such a good time, man.
I was playing a board game right next to the table, but man, you guys were, that PvP table was crazy. That was going nuts.
Dude, well, yeah, like there was just some awesomeness happening there that sparked like a good, awesome friendship and moment, and hopefully like some future cool collaborations in the works. And,
absolutely.
I mean, again, that'll be part of like the whole Dice Tell the Best Stories because they're great stories. But no, like just so much laughter, man, and that's kind of what it's all about.
Yeah. I mean, that's our number one thing is have fun. It's a game, so have fun. That's the number one reason we play this game is to have fun. Yeah, absolutely. All right, so then what are you most excited about coming up for year 2, man? Year 2. Most excited. I'm curious to see how the whole Discord thing plays out. I'm sure it'll be fine and great. But just to watch that journey of when we launch and what that ends up turning into. Excited to see how that grows. And then I'm excited, as much fun as we've had with our characters and with this storyline and with like Luke's module, I am super excited to get into Nick's game. And roll a new character and play someone different. And I just think it's super cool that we have we'll have like 60-ish plus episodes of like backstory played out of that campaign to lead into that campaign, which I think is super awesome as far as like down the road. Like if people figure that out and they like just start at that campaign, they're gonna be like, holy cow, like the first 60 episodes is like that whole playing out like, oh, now I want to watch the origin story, if you will. So I just think that's super cool. But I know Nick's been working a lot on his, and he's excited about his story. So really diving into that, I'm excited to start a new campaign, even though I would be sad to say goodbye to Gordon, Ellsworth, and Jastian.
Okay, I dig it, man. I mean, I'm definitely sad. I was really looking forward to building on like what we did at the first LayerCon and the second one, and I know you guys will. So I'm super sad that I will not be there.
Such a bummer.
Stupid weddings, stupid love and marriage. I'm just kidding. I love you, Dave and Johanna. But I was really looking forward to going because like I have such. Like, you know, man, we talk about this all the time, but like the potential for like live Dungeons and Dragons experiences, like there's so much there. And I was really hoping to like play with it a little bit more and tease that out.
Absolutely.
But I know y'all will do it right. I'm
we'll
excited.
Hold down the fort. We will hold down the fort.
Not even a doubt in my mind. I'm really excited for like just opportunities that are going to come, I think. And like just kind of again, like the random good things that happen in Dungeons and Dragons, the random good things that happen in life for those moments when you roll that 20 with that vorpal sword. And like those sort of unexpected moments in year 2 are things that I'm really, really kind of excited about. Yeah. It'd be fun to like collaborate. It'd be fun to get like other people on the stream, man. I know it's not something we've talked about, but
certainly a possibility.
So. And like play more with that, with like community building in that way, and like I don't know, getting to hang out with so like we met 2 other YouTubers this year, and they're both really fun and a good time. 3, I guess, because Fry was here too, man. And like so like spending more time and like becoming more enmeshed in that community, like I think is gonna be a lot of fun. And so
absolutely.
Those are definitely things I'm looking forward to.
Absolutely.
In year 2.
Ed, you're setting a very interesting precedent because if I'm not mistaken, you don't like Colorado. He's bummed that you won't be there for his game.
Believe me.
And I know Max is too. But he's like, I guess I'm going to have to come to Colorado. And I'm like, we could like kind of easily make that happen. So...
Yeah, no, I offered you guys like y'all are welcome. I mean, shoot, this is my dining room.
I have extra rooms at my place, so whenever you want to, man.
I mean, Colorado in the summertime, pretty nice.
That's what you need to do, Colorado in the summertime.
No, I'm definitely bummed out to miss out on that game. But I hope, someone write it for 4, and somebody should be able to take my place and do well.
Yeah. Well, Ed doesn't like Denver apparently, so that's kind of where I'm at. If we're talking not suburbs, not getting into the suburbs, but I mean, Max has the mountain house, man. We can house you and we can play some games.
It's true. If I really wanted to screw this up, I could turn my super fancy tripod of books to face out the window, but I don't think it would do my view justice.
That's fair. And then Goliath, he's like, it's not warm though, it's just super cold. I'm like, no, it's not. If it's in the summer, it's especially in Summit County. Like if it's an 80-degree day or 75-degree day, sure, 75 degrees doesn't sound like that.
Oh, but in the sun,
but in the sun, you're like under a broiler. Like there's days that I go out in Breckenridge that like after 5 minutes, I almost feel my skin burning. Like that's how warm it is.
Dude, like I rock the 100 SPF sunscreen. Because like I don't have it's that.
It's intense. It's intense.
Yeah, man.
The sun's intense. Is it cooler? Yes, but it's not cold all the time. Give it a chance, Goliath Cleric.
Shade. No, it's amazing. Like never until I moved up here did I appreciate like, oh, it's cooler in the shade. But it is way cooler in the shade up here, like because there's no humidity, and so all the warmth comes from the sun as opposed to like ambient air temperature. But I'm super sad to miss out on this game, but maybe it'll go awesome, and maybe year 3 will be a bigger, better game, and we'll do it like that.
Yeah. Negative Spaces is shouting out for a PeakCon.
There'd be 6 of us. Really, that would just be like PeakCon would probably be like playing board games at this table at this point. But Negative Space. We heard you, and I'm editing the final draft of the script on non-combat encounters. It's gonna be a minute until it sees the light of the internets, but it's there, and I think you're gonna like it. So let it be said, we listen.
I would agree.
And pay attention. So I'm curious, we got 10 minutes left. Are you gonna stick with your character for Nick's?
Hold on 1 second, I have to sneeze. Okay, I sneezed. You didn't see it, Max, but the chat did, and it's fine. What were you saying? Sorry.
Well, because like when we were playtesting, right? Like we made characters.
Oh,
Ed was asking if we're going to switch characters, and so I'm curious. Ben has like talked about like maybe I'm not going to get down with Quain.
I did like Quain though. Quain was cool.
Different. I mean, I liked the vibe that we had.
That's very true.
But I mean, what are you?
I think I might keep the name and the race I picked, but I don't think I'll be the class that I was. I think I might switch up classes.
I'm trying to remember any of the 3 pieces of those information, and
so
I don't remember.
I was Minamorlin, which I think will be my name, and I think I was a drow, and I was a bard, and we were talking about how I was just I was going to be a beat poet, and I was going to try to make it.
Yeah.
Which I do like that idea, and I might stick with it.
Okay.
But the other day, me and Greg were looking through, because we were talking about maybe at some point when either of our lives are not so busy, starting a Denver group that is just like with our immediate friends down here. And we were looking at the player's handbook and what classes that one of the players might play, and I was looking at the sorcerer, and I was like, that actually mechanically seems pretty fun. And I don't think I've really played a spellcaster in ever. I mean, the druid was close, the closest thing I've done to a spellcaster. So with like the sorcerer points and being a sorcerer, I was like, this is actually pretty neat, and I might turn into a wild mage sorcerer, because I thought that would be fun.
So like, you do realize that was the character I made, right? Was a wild mage sorcerer.
Was it?
Way back when? Yes.
The cat?
Yes.
What was your name?
Triss.
Triss, that's right. I did not realize that.
Most definitely. So I was sitting here thinking,
maybe we should have 3 wild mage sorcerers.
I would like to, and I talked to Nick about this. Like, I know the dungeon coach, Rox, has like a pretty cool PDF for wild magic and wild magic effects.
Yeah.
So shout out Alan. And I know I talked to Nick about using that, because I do think it's more awesome than rules is written.
Yeah. Well, and it's so customizable. Wild magic chart, like you can do anything with that.
Yeah.
Because I was looking at it too, and it's like a couple of them were like, cast fireball on yourself, and like you go invisible for a minute, or it's all over the place. But it was super cool. I was like, that would be kind of fun. But if you keep Triss, then I will look elsewhere, or I would just keep my bard, because I did like the idea for the bard.
Yeah, no, I got you. We'll see. I haven't been. I mean, I like the idea of a sorcerer. I've had fun messing around with Illensworth and like the arcane trickster thing.
Yeah.
But I'm also usually pretty flexible.
Yeah.
So we can figure that out.
We can figure that out. That's very true. But
or just have 2 sorcerers. We'd have to split all the good magic item stuff, like magic focused
literal magic items. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm certainly not opposed to my bard, because let's like story role playing wise, I was pretty stoked about how that would go, but I think I would want to tweak his backstory a little bit.
Oh, yeah, of course.
I wasn't really sold on the backstory, so I would tweak that a little bit from where it was, but just the idea of like being a beat poet and like level 1, like all of my like bardic inspirations are awful. They're like stupid couplets, but then like when I'm level 6, 7, 8, 9, like they get better.
Yeah.
And, like specifically write them bad at first, but then like actually work on them and write them well as we get better. I think it'd be hilarious. Really cool like role playing style of just like you can see how I progress as my poetry is awful and progresses to be better for bardic inspiration.
I totally forgot about you and the couplets for inspiration.
Yeah, because I was like, I mean, all on the street or all on the like test footage. I was like trying to write things down of like as things were happening to like give actual bardic inspiration and like really play into that mechanic of like saying something or like speaking something rather than just be like, I cast bardic inspiration, but actually like using it to say something and giving you inspiration. And I know I had a few funny ones. Do I have that? I might have that somewhere in my room.
Nice. Oh, like the notebook?
Yeah.
Nice.
But maybe that'll be next stream. I don't know. I could go look for it, but we also are around 5 minutes. But we can go later. I don't know where you're at, but
no, that's cool. I don't need to force you to look through your room and bury stuff. I just was laughing at the idea that
it's like, in one place, and if it's not there, then
you're cool, man. I just laugh at the idea that like one day we're just gonna run out of so much steam. It's just gonna be like Tony reading bad poetry on our live streams.
That's what caught out of this whole thing. All right, I guess. Sorry, PeakD&D. I'm just gonna be Tony the beat poet and just have bad readings every week.
Then you know what? I will ride your emo couplet coattails.
That's fair. That's fair.
All the way to the top, buddy. It's the kind of,
because that was the whole dynamic we kind of had thought of, was that Triss was gonna like be my manager and like push me forward and try to get me famous.
Definitely.
I can't remember where Kane was gonna be the Kane, but with a Q, was gonna be our like the bodyguard or something like that. But we had a whole like what's it called, entourage crew for the famous poet, like look, or try to get to that point where we can get into like social settings or like play up our social status a little bit in that way. To have that in our back pocket for when we go into towns and stuff like that. So that was the kind of idea, but it never saw the light of day yet, but it could. Still.
I'll be curious if Ben, because I know from like what he said, just offhanded comments, like I think he's thinking of going in a different direction, because I'm pretty sure like Kane was like Jastian ended up kind of like minus the druid level, but it was like a fighter warlocky thing he had going on, and like now he's got a fighter warlocky thing, but like he's also a druid. So I'll be curious. I don't know what Ben's thinking.
I did love how it played out that he had the worst charisma, but we pushed him in front of us to be the charisma guy, which was great.
I mean, and there is part of me that like I wouldn't necessarily mind playing the paladin of self-destruction. That would be cool. I mean, I
would be down.
I do want to make Triss at some point, and like a sorcerer, wild mage sorcerer does sound a lot of fun.
When I was reading through it, I was like, this sounds awesome.
No, check out what the dungeon coach did too. Like, it's way cooler, I think.
Well, now playing with a halfling, seeing how many ones are actually rolled, then wild mage is gonna go off.
Well, like he made like this whole thing. Basically, he just made this system where like wild surges happen more often, because like,
which that's what was my first thought when I was reading the rules. I was like 5% of the time. Like, it does happen a lot, as we've seen, because you've re-rolled a lot of ones, but it also doesn't happen that often.
Yeah, no, exactly. And like, that's part of the...
Hey, the dungeon coach is here, by the way.
Oh, shit,
what's up, man?
Oh, that's funny. We were just talking about your wild magic system.
Yeah, he was like, do it.
It's maybe I'll be curious, but so I don't know, man. Maybe I'll give you the wild mage. It sounded fun though.
Oh, interesting. Negative Space was like, bring back the Rose Gauntlet characters. They were good. The weird part of that was I was playing myself to some extent.
Iron Lung was pretty sweet.
I mean, well, and the Aarakocra, Captain America Aarakocra.
Oh man, I was cleaning in the studio, and poor Screeve Rogers took weak ankles. Man, Pet Mini is in bad shape.
Oh yeah, I forgot. That's when that happened. That's hilarious. Yes, Alan, dungeon coach. He sensed the wild magic in the air and has been summoned.
Exactly, brothers in the light. This
indeed,
dude knows.
Indeed.
No, it'll be super fun to see. Yeah, now I'm all curious.
Yeah, now we're all over the place of what we're going to play.
I know. But that's the beauty of it, man. That's usually how I make characters. It blows my mind when people are like, I'm going to do this, and at level 4, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do this, and have it like all planned out. Like, I literally don't know the character I'm going to make until like I sit down and it's like, what feels right?
Yeah. I mean, just talking about it now, the bard feels more right than it has and I do like it. I just want to change his. I need to change his story because I wasn't sold in general about his story. So
plenty of space. No, and I really do want to rock that wild magic sorcerer. I think
it would be legit. And not to mention you were the cat person. What
oh yeah, the Tabaxi. Yeah,
Tabaxis.
no, I was gonna have a lot of fun with that. Maybe we could talk Ben into being a paladin of self-destruction.
I mean, at that point, he's just playing himself, right?
But it's the Rose Up Gauntlet all over again.
It's the Rose Up Gauntlet all over again. Maybe. Well, yeah. I know. I guess I know Ben has, but maybe we should just be all frisky dingo characters.
I mean, I was wondering how long it was going to be until someone tries to rock Killface as a voice, or like.
I don't think I have the voice to do it correctly.
Yeah, no, that's one thing I don't have.
Ben, I mean, Ben is a very good voice actor in general. He's got a lot. Same with Nick. They have a lot of good voices. So
it's really about like nailing it consistently.
Yes,
like, I'm pretty sure I could do it once good, but to like get there every time and do it, like that's one thing. Like Ben and Nick are way awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that it's not as intensive as Killface, but I would say it probably took me about a month, 6 weeks to get comfortable with my southern accent, which still, in my opinion, is god awful. But people, I mean, I think Ed was like, I thought that was your voice. I was like, wow, that's crazy to me. But thank you. That means I'm doing something right. I remember that though. That was like one of the first things he said at LayerCon, I think, when we were there. He's like, I swear your voice was southern. It's not. You don't have a southern accent. I'm like, that's just for the character, man.
No, look at you acting. Look at you up there acting.
That's when I know I made it. That's when I know I made it. Is
there
when
you go, man.
Someone thought that my voice acting was my voice.
You already made it. We're already there.
We're already there. We're already there. But I mean, yeah, you guys showed me Frisky Dingo, and now it's just in my mind all the time.
Yeah, we have a whole hour.
Live stream. We got a whole hour. We got a whole hour. They crack me up, the Esticles. Anyways, it is, yeah, we're running at 7 o'clock. We usually do this for an hour because we got a whole hour. So I think we probably gonna sign off here, and yeah, any last parting words, Max? To the peeps?
It's been a great year. I think it's awesome to see all the people in the chat. Like, clearly LayerCon was like such a huge, big win, and
such a big win. Awesome. They're doing it again. So, yeah, I mean, half the LayerCon, not half, but a lot of the LayerCon people are here. So thank you, and Keith, the Negative Space. You guys always show up, so thanks for showing up. And then Dungeon Coach, man, good to see you.
Because they were making weird noises, so I have no idea what any of you are saying. But it's been a fun year, and I love you all.
Sweet. Max is signing off too. So thanks, guys, for showing up. We will see you in 2 weeks for another live stream. We out of here.